Hello, everyone. Is everyone enjoying the night so far? My story takes us back to 1978. It was a very confusing time for me. A lonely time for me in a lot of ways, and just a lot of stuff going on. My best friend had just moved away a few months previous. We spent all our time together as much as possible. We built fireworks out of match tips and aluminum foil. We drove around on his Honda 50 mini bike. We started up my go-kart once in a while and zipped it around the noisy thing around the block. Maybe one time before the police would chase us and swear that they would lock us up next time. We caught snakes, frogs. We had a lot of fun as boys. But something was different with me. I loved being a tomboy, but just didn't know. I knew I was different, but couldn't tell you why. It was a lonely time for me also. My mother just wasn't around. She suffered from really terrible depression and would lock herself in the room. Some nights I would pound on the door and no response, and just be fend for ourselves for dinner. So I didn't have a lot of support at home, and wasn't really involved in school much either. I didn't have a lot of other friends. I really tried to connect to the girls in the neighborhood, but for the last few years, every time I tried, usually I'd end up, running home or sometimes even crying after. I didn't always know what they were up to. They kind of wouldn't let me most of the time. I really didn't know, I was a transgender child, obviously, but I didn't know at the time. I didn't know much about it. I knew when I saw Billy Crystal cross-dress on TV that was something like me, but that character was gay, and I was only attracted to women in a big way, so none of it made sense to me. Other boys were into Star Wars and all those other things, and just I was into more nature and things like that. School, I stared at girls a lot, or stared into space. I was the kid that sat in the back of the English class, just staring off into space or using my pen, pretending it was a spaceship. Anything to distract myself. I really enjoyed the science subjects and that would catch my attention, but English I really struggled to even be there. But Mr. Nichols, he was my favorite teacher. He taught English, so I had him in the first semester that year. I learned things from him like eating pizza for breakfast. I thought he was the coolest guy in the world. He drove a Corvette to school. He wore faded jeans and a flannel, stuff like I wore. He talked about fun stuff and talked to us, not at us like a lot of other teachers. It's one class I still struggle to pay attention, but I really enjoyed the class because of it. One day, towards the end of the semester, Mr. Nichols assigned a term paper assignment. It was going to be X amount of words and done in an official way. It was a big project. Well, I took it to heart. I was going to show what I could do with this. I was going to buckle down. I was going to do some work for once. I never turned in any homework at all, barely. So this was going to be my goal. Luckily, I had the high-speed internet of the day. It took up about 3.5 feet of my brother's bookshelf, the Encyclopedia Britannica. I also went to the library and checked out a whole armload of books, all about printing. So I decided to take up the subject of the history of printing. My father was a printer, and I had worked a little bit in his quite a bit in his printing business, and I knew quite a bit about printing already, and I figured nobody else does, I'll do that. So I spent the time in the library studying printing books. I took a pass on the National Geographics, which often enthralled me otherwise, because looking at pornography in a library never made sense to me. Why do they, this person is not a person and they can show her, but another person they wouldn't. So it's something that fascinated me, but didn't at the time. I was enthralled getting my project done. I really dove into it and put my all into it. I worked almost secretly because no one paid attention to me at home. My father, he ran his business and he was gone usually before I got up, and not back till after close to when I went to bed. So I really didn't interact with my parents very much at all. I don't even think they knew that I was doing the assignment. There was also going to be an oral presentation with this assignment, something I had never done and was nervous about. But I was all up for it. The day of the presentation, Mary Beth went up first. She did a nice presentation about her dog breed, some kind of terrier. I'm sure her mom helped with it. It was very nice. Mr. Nichols was up the whole time in front of the class with her, just giving her encouragement and smiling and telling her she did a wonderful job, and it was, a very nice thing. When I came up to do my presentation, Mr. Nichols was nowhere to be found, except at his desk. I was reading my presentation and I noticed Mr. Nichols looked like he was grading papers. Didn't even look like he was paying attention. I did my best and I gave my presentation and sat down. There was no praise, there was no nothing, there was no acknowledgement. So I didn't feel like I did well on it, but I thought I had, because I had really done the work. I mean, I had, really spent a lot of time on it. So I don't know if it was that day or the next day when I got my grade. It was a D-. I didn't understand at all, why did I get a D-. So after class, I waited, and I went to talk to Mr. Nichols. I said, Mr. Nichols, why did I get a D- on this? And he looked me dead in the eyes and said, you know. The problem was, I had no idea. I didn't know. The only thing that ran through my mind was, I must have screwed up the footnote so bad, and that's why I got a D-. Because that's the part that I struggled with on my own, and asked my mom for help, and she really couldn't help me either. So I was dumbfounded. I was speechless. I stared back at him. I couldn't say a word. I felt like the dumbest person in the world, actually, at that time. I left. I don't think I said another word to him and left the class. It wasn't for quite a while when I figured out that what he actually meant was that he thought I cheated on the test. He probably thought my dad's secretary or my mother had prepared the whole thing. Which made sense. It was, far beyond any work that I had produced up until that time. But he didn't ask. And that was the key. Maybe if he asked me, I could have said something. The way he confronted me, I was speechless and frozen. So the semester was soon over, and I was trying to let go of it, and my mind was just occupied all the time. Being transgender, that's all I could think about. It haunted me day and night. That's all I did was stare at the girls and try to interact with the girls, and none of it worked. I even went on the school trip next semester with Mr. Nichols, and he was never kind to me during the trip, very distant. At one point, he lectured all of us when we were going into a store. Don't steal anything. Students always try to take something, and you will be sent home if you take something. Well, I took something. I took a little cannon just to spite Mr. Nichols. So little did Mr. Nichols know that I actually set up a printing business. I had worked for years at my father's printing business. I started in the factory building at Ford City. It was an abandoned Ford Motor Company building where they built aircrafts for the engines, aircraft engines for World War II, bomb-proof buildings. Well, the floors were clean, and it was our task to paint the entire floor. Me and my brothers and sisters. Well, we got most of the way through, but we needed some help. It was a huge place. From there, it was moving things, moving in printing presses, moving this, moving that, setting things up, watching the electricians, wire up most of the place. At one point, my dad said, "I need you to wire up this printing press." I don't really know how to do it. "Oh, you can figure it out." It wasn't that hard. It's similar to plugging it. It was a 110 volt motor, so basically it's the same connection that you make when you plug in a plug, but just twisting the wires and then coating the wires, protecting them. But for my age, it was a lot, and I'm sure Mr. Nichols probably would have hesitated. So I never really held a grudge against Mr. Nichols.
I do.
People are people, and I'm just not a grudge holder, I guess. And I did learn something. I learned a lot from the whole ordeal. I learned that I could teach myself any subject I wanted to. And I have taught myself many subjects over the years. Any of my hobbies, interests, I have done that and been successful at teaching myself my own occupation. And so I have a non-traditional job, and basically I'm self-taught. So it did help me in a lot of ways, so I don't hold everything against him. And in the end, it all worked out. Thank you.